How do you think the DP World, the inaugural season of the DP World International League T20 is going?
Um, okay. In fact, better than okay. If you think about any new tournament, any new competition, it takes time for people to, first of all, be aware it's there.
Hmm.
Obviously, for the players, they are contracted. This kind of treadmill that players are existing on nowadays. I mean, it's interesting to see when you've got. I mean, one of the problems actually was that you had four competitions going on at the same time: Bangladesh, Australia, South Africa, UAE.
Right.
So inevitably, there are players spread across the four competitions. You've had the almost not quite ridiculous, but interesting situation where a couple of players, Narain and Russell, have gone from having a very bad tournament here, to be blatantly honest about it. I mean, the Abu Dhabi Knight Riders managed their one win
Hmm.
from their final game. Up until then, the only point they got was from a match abandoned because of rain.
Hmm.
And the two guys have left UAE, gone to Bangladesh for a week. So
Hmm.
that's the sort of treadmill these players are on. Um, but as far as this ILT20 in UAE has gone, I think we've had enough of the good players here. So there's been some star performances.
Right. Right. Who's your favorite side in the DP World ILT20?
Good question. Probably. Well, actually, of the two top sides, Vipers, Gulf Giants. It's a sort of toss the coin
Hmm.
between them.
Hmm.
I like the way Gulf Giants operate. I think, I mean, they're always going to be a good side when you've got Andy Flower coaching. The
Yeah.
Flower brothers, of course, are involved in the coaching, and they're two very good guys who've been around the world a lot,
True.
know their trade. Andy's brilliant. Andy's one of the most brilliant coaches around, and I think the atmosphere they managed to create, because that is actually what I'm discovering about franchise cricket is one of the big problems is bringing a group together for a short period of time. I mean, for instance, IPL has the luxury of having players together often and for longer.
True.
But these other franchises, you're there for a month, you meet up for a few days beforehand, you've got to create a team spirit, you've got to get people into form. It then brooks the original argument: which comes first? Is it team spirit or is it form? If you have form, it's easy to be a happy team. If you don't have team spirit, it's hard to get the form. Those are the arguments that go around in circles, always have done.
Absolutely.
But I
Absolutely.
think Giants have done okay. They've kept it together, and they are obviously, by dint of their position on the table, one of the favourites to actually take the trophy at the end of it.
Right. Very well said there. Form and team spirit go hand in hand, and they're both
Mm.
directly proportional to each other. They'll always grow together. Having said that, I want to dissect the question even further.
Mm.
Which is your
Mm.
favorite bowling unit per se, and which is your favorite batting
Oh, you've put me on the spot, Alfred.
unit?
It's all a blur. Problem for commentators with this modern world, as well as you fly in literally,
Hmm.
um, and you have to assimilate who's playing. I mean, sometimes you find yourself thinking, "Oh, he plays. I don't know. He plays to that side. Oh, hang on, no, hang on. Oh, no. He plays to that side."
Right.
Because you've got all these international players in amongst it all.
Would you have been a different batsman or a different player mindset wise if you were in this era? Who would you compare yourself from this era of T20
I
cricket?
wouldn't dare. um, I think if I was going to be, if you're going to sort of turn the clock back or forward,
Hmm.
first of all, I always quite like being myself. I think the easy answer to all these questions is you have to be yourself.
Hmm.
And I would advise the same of any young player nowadays. If you say to someone coming in at the age of 20 into this modern game, well, don't try and be anyone else, be yourself, and you play to your own strengths. But if I were to compare myself, if I was going to play T20 cricket, I would have to be someone like Joe Root, because Joe still blends the classical with the innovative.
What would you like to say to
Mm.
the fans so that they turn up to the stadiums and make in large numbers and make the playoffs and semifinals and finals successful? What would you like to say to the fans for that?
Well, I mean, yes, one of the slight disappointments has been the fact that we've never had a full house or anything
Right.
like a full house at any of the stadiums. But that, to be honest, reflects how things work in the UAE. and the fact that a lot of the potential audience is at work through a lot of this. And the fact also, I mean, let's face it, the awareness of ILT20 has to grow. As you say, these venues have had international cricket played here, all sorts of World Cups, you name it, that have been played in this part of the world. Mm-hmm. And for those established games, established formats, there have been crowds coming. But for something like ILT20, I think awareness has to grow. So, for instance, what everyone has learned from the last month or so is that it is a good league. There are some good players. There is some entertainment. There are some ups and downs. It would be nice to think there will be a few people excited by the fact that we're down to the final 4 games of the series, that we're into a knockout situation, that there is a lot to play for. There is obviously the prize money. They just announced yesterday that the winning team will be given very valuable looking, very heavy cricket ball cricket ball weighted, not sized pendants as a memento for winning, as well as the prize money. So I mean, it's just
amazing.
I suppose it's a fairly it's it's out of this world. I mean, I suppose it's a sort of typical UAE thing. It's okay. So thanks very much. Here's a pendant. It's got diamond. It's got diamonds. It's got everything.
Right.
And you'll be weighed down by this 5.5 ounce pendant hanging around your neck if you win the series.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for talking to me. It's a pleasure, and I love the fact that every time I asked you a question, you just spoke your heart out and you were there blatantly and brutally being yourself. Thank you so much for doing that. Thank you for being a sport. Thank you, sir.
No, my pleasure. All the best to you. Well, let's see what happens in these finals. I hope it's an exciting finish anyway.